This is our great country. The land we live in. The land we're so proud of. Our own United States of America. It's a big country, this land of ours. A country of broad plains and rolling prairies, of vast forests and fertile fields, rivers and lakes, high mountains, little villages, and great cities. No wonder we're so proud of America. There's such to be proud of. And here's one of the most wonderful things about this vast country of ours. No matter where we want to travel, no kinds of raw materials and manufactured goods. Have you ever stopped to think how really important railroads are? Have you ever thought of what it takes for the millions of people in this great country to be able to travel from one end of the land to speed, safety, comfort, and at low cost? Have you ever marveled at the iron ore and coal and hundreds of other raw materials that move continuously to the nation's widespread factories? And how thousands of different finished products are delivered from where they are made to where they are needed in all parts of the country? The answers to those questions make up one of the most fascinating and important stories in the history of our country. The story of the American railroads. In order to tell you that story, we're going to visit the railroad yards. We're going into the railroad stations and out along the tracks. In that way, you will get a better idea of what the nation's railroad system is like and the big, important job trains are always doing. Then, the next time you are on a train, or the next time you see a train speeding off into the distance, you'll understand how much we all depend on railroads. How much keep this land of ours the most wonderful and prosperous nation in the world. When our country was young and much smaller than it is today, traveling was slow, uncomfortable, and dangerous. And so people didn't travel very much. Then, just a little more than 100 years ago, came the one thing the young country needed to grow into an important nation: adequate transportation. That transportation came in the form of railroads. Those early trains were funny little affairs when compared with the big trains we see rolling today. Everyone likes to travel. Suppose we see what happens when we take a train trip. We'll go along with these two friends of ours, Carol and Jimmy. That is, if Jimmy can ever get Carol's suitcase shut. In real life, their parents would probably go along with them. But for this picture, suppose we let Carol and Jimmy travel by themselves, okay? There they go in the taxi cab that will take them to the railroad station. Almost every town has a railroad station. Some are larger than others, but all railroad stations, large or small, are very interesting places. For example, at most railroad stations, you will usually find the Railway Express. You will see people checking and sorting packages to make certain that they will be put aboard trains which will take them to their destinations without delay. And remember, they will handle almost anything, including your dog. Say, we'd better not forget Carol and Jimmy. Here they are, arriving in plenty of time to check their baggage and buy their tickets before their train is scheduled to leave. Pay the taxi driver, Jimmy, and get a check from the red cap for each one of your handbags. The next stop is to buy tickets. Now, let's see. Jimmy and Carol are going to visit their aunt and uncle at a town about 1,000 miles away. They will be coming back by train, so they will buy round-trip tickets. Buying round-trip tickets, they will be saving money, too. The ticket clerk stamps each ticket with the date on which the ticket is purchased and the date on which the ticket is used. So far, so good. As Carol and Jimmy are going to sleep on the train, they'll have to have sleeping car tickets, too. That's right. You're all set now. Say, you'd better not take too much time paying for your tickets, Jimmy, because here comes your train. Trunks, luggage, and other such items are loaded into the baggage car near the head end of the train. The United States mail is put aboard the railway mail car. Windows are cleaned by a mechanical washer. Friends and relatives bid each other last-minute goodbyes. Passengers like Carol and Jimmy board their cars and are shown their space in the car by the porter. It's just about time now for the train to pull out. All aboard! In a matter of seconds, the wheels start turning. Smoothly, almost without effort, the train gathers momentum. Before long, it is out in the open country again, running along at top speed. It's really great fun traveling on trains. You can sit for hours just watching the scenery as it rushes by. It's almost like a travel motion picture, one of the most interesting motion pictures you could possibly imagine. Here's the conductor. Tickets, please. Into sleeping rooms at night. That's right, Carol. Always use the ladder to get into an upper. Getting pretty late, so good night, Jimmy and Carol, and pleasant dreams. Always remember that you're traveling the safest and soundest way there is to travel when you travel by train. We've been talking mostly about passenger trains. But how many of you know that about half of the trains in the country carry no passengers at all? That's right, they carry freight. Things that are so important in our daily lives. The food we eat. The clothes we wear. The fuel we burn. The nation's raw materials to factories, which will make them into finished products. Iron ore, scooped from the mines of Alabama and the great ranges of Minnesota, are moved to the nation's blast furnaces to be made into iron and steel. The railroads also buy millions of tons of finished iron and steel every year for their cars and locomotives, tracks and bridges. Here is something that many of you may not have realized before about the railroads of America. That is, that they pay enough in school taxes alone to provide an education for hundreds of thousands of school children every year. Say, it's time we were getting back to Carol and Jimmy. They'll think we've forgotten all about them. Here's their train coming into their station, and right on time. It looks like their aunt and uncle are pretty happy to see them, too. To start moving again. Pulling out of the station, gathering speed, carrying other passengers, mail, express, and baggage to other stations. We certainly hope you've had a nice time coming along on this trip with us, and that you've learned something about railroads that perhaps you didn't know before. We hope each and every one of you will be able to take a trip on a train very soon. You'll want to visit a big city. Maybe you'll prefer to take a vacation trip to the wide open spaces. Or maybe some of you will prefer the seashore. But no matter where you might want to go, remember there are always trains to take you. And when you go, you'll see how big and how wonderful your own United States of America really is. Are an important part of America. They play an important part in our daily lives, carrying millions of tons of freight and millions of people every day of the year. That's one of the wonderful things about this country of ours. Here, people can go where they want to go, when they want to go. Yes, this is indeed a great land. A land of opportunity. A land made great by the efforts of individuals. Individual efforts which have raised ours to the world's highest standard of living. Here in America, a person can worship God as he chooses. He can go to the church of his choice. This is a land where a person can go to school and be educated to the extent of his ability and desire. From kindergarten to universities as fine as are to be found anywhere in the world. This is a great country, America. A country of the people, by the people, for the people. A country whose flag we are always proud to honor, and whose rights, principles, and freedoms we are always proud to uphold. It was upon these principles and freedoms that this nation was built, and these same principles and freedoms held fast by America's youth. A youth educated in her history and traditions are the greatest hope, the greatest protection for the future of this, the greatest of all countries, our country, the United States of America.